Beans, it's time for another
Yes, it is.
classic JP and the Beans top 5. Fresh off of that JP Beefs for today's pod, we're going to give you our top 5 unresolved story or character threads that we want resolved. ASAP.
Top 5 MCU plot holes.
How about that? Beans, you go first.
My number 5, thank you to your list, because I was not thinking about it until today.
It was genuinely fun to research.
Well, good.
Genuinely.
I'm glad you had fun with it. You mentioned it a while ago, so I'm glad we were able to get it all out in the open.
Absolutely. Get it out there.
You needed it. It was clearly built up inside. My number 5 is Hercules.
Yeah.
Okay, I've seen Ted Lasso. The guy who's playing Hercules, Brett.
Phenomenal.
Fantastic actor.
Yeah.
I love Brett. He's funny. I think he could bring a lot of humor to that role as well. Not that you need it for Hercules. I'd like to see Hercules and Thor go at it. I would just like to have Hercules present in the MCU. That's great. I would also find it hilarious if he turned on Zeus and kicked Zeus's ass. So that would be funny. But it's just one of those great characters, great casting. It's like, if you're going to introduce him, why are you not doing anything with him?
Right.
Because clearly there was not an idea for Thor 5.
No.
There wasn't.
No.
You kind of were like, here is what we will do for Thor 5 if we decide to do it. But it's like, okay.
Pretty loose.
It's real loose.
Yeah.
So where does he fall in here? And I don't see it right now. So that's my number 5.
Yep. My number 5 are the characters of the Eternals. Because, listen, it was a well enough made and well enough fruited movie where it's like you can't just dump that on the garbage heap and say, okay, I guess we're just going to be done. Now, I'm not saying you have to bring every single one or all of them back. It's totally fine with me if you're going, listen, out of the 6 remaining Eternals that we've got, 3 to 4 of them aren't really interested in continuing with their characters. Okay, you know what? You can still bring a couple of them back because whether it's Kari, the deaf speedster, or Druig, who can control and manipulate others, there are some really compelling. I mean, Kingo was freaking hilarious. I would love to see more of our guy Kingo. Fastos was fascinating. Interesting. But I'm just bummed that, hey, there's something to work with there. I would like to see more of those characters. Not even necessarily their primary story thread, let's say. Like, when it comes to the Celestials, I'm really less intrigued by that. That's where it gets too big and too broad and too like, oh, the whole multiverse is it. I'm more interested in the character-driven element of these characters who just went through a very significant progression in that movie and now have to come to terms with, hey, what comes next? There's some great things to explore there. So that's my number 5. My number 4, again, I'm sticking with the Eternals movie. Dane Whitman, pick up the Ebony Blade. Boy, wouldn't that be great?
That'd be sick.
Right? Team up with Moon Knight, get Blade in there. I mean, there are some fun, intriguing, great power set characters that we have yet to see get their time to shine on the big screen. So for me, that's my number 4.
My number 4 is Scorpion, because firstly, it's a Spider-Man villain that we have not seen yet, which props to the MCU. They were 3 for 3 on giving us, they're 2 for 3 on giving us villains that we haven't seen. Right. It worked really, really, really well for the third one. Okay. But the first 2, like, they gave us Mysterio. We hadn't had Mysterio yet. And
it was a great Mysterio.
And it was a great Mysterio. It worked perfect for that universe. And good changes to that character. No doubt. Again, Vulture, fantastic. We hadn't gotten a Vulture. They made the Vulture a badass. I want to see Scorpion. I would love to see J. Jonah Jameson invest in this guy and watch this dude turn into a freaking lunatic who's stuck in a Scorpion costume. Now we can get away from the loose rubber costume and go for the more Spider-Man PlayStation look where it's robotics and all that stuff. That's awesome.
Much more fleshed out.
But geez, I want to see something that's spitting poison out left and right. Absolutely. I got Scorpion at 4.
I love that.
Number 3, I have Blade. Look, The fact that you can't figure Blade out is crazy to me. It will always be crazy. Yep. They did such a great job with the 3 blades. This should be a layup at this point. You have the foundation. You know the rated R movies work. Mm-hmm. Hit the layup.
Not hard.
That's my number 3.
No, not hard. Not complicated. I love that. My number 3 is Shang-Chi. They gave him such an outstanding character arc. There were some real goofy elements of that movie, okay, that I'm not necessarily saying, hey, let's keep leaning into that. But just that character of Shang-Chi, like if we're talking about, hey, what's that next generation of Avengers going to look like? Absolutely sign the guy up.
Yep.
He's in. He's totally worthwhile. He's a fleshed out character. There's more to explore. He's got the ability, with or without, by the way, the rings. He doesn't need them in order to be a force. Obviously, he gets powered up when he does get them and he has the opportunity to use them. But Shang-Chi deserves more time on the screen. His skill set is so much fun to watch. So for me, that is my number 3. Okay. So my number 2. It's great that we're getting a Red Hulk. That's fun. But a Red Hulk can't exist without a Green Hulk. Red Hulk is like a secondary Hulk, in my opinion. We need Bruce Banner. We need Bruce Banner as the Hulk much more frequently. We cannot be drifting back into the old, what I used to grow up with, which is a Hulk movie once in a great while, and it's not very good. The CGI isn't even that great. The story's particularly rough. Come on. Get the Hulk in here on a regular basis. That's my number 2.
My number 2, we talked about it already a little bit. Council of Kangs. I love Dr. Doom.
Yep.
Doom is great.
Yep.
And I love RDJ. Mm-hmm. But man, the what we could have gotten from Kang, I loved the idea that Kang, different versions of Kang would just show up in other movies.
Oh my gosh.
And because it's such a unique, different thing that we've never seen before.
Yep.
Just to watch them play out with that, I think he would have been a great adversary for the Fantastic Four.
No question.
Because of their history together and because Kang is relatively in the lineage of Reed Richards, from what I understand.
Correct.
So, again, there's another layup. Lawsuit aside and what all that was, I don't know what they...
Recast the character if you have to. That's fine.
I don't know why they didn't learn from the James Gunn thing.
It's fascinating.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So that's where I'm at with that. The concept was there. Everything was there. He Who Remains was fantastic.
Laid the foundation.
And they just butchered it.
Yep.
So that was my number 2. My number 1, my boy, Kit Harington, Black Knight.
Yep.
You touched on all of it. It's great. If you look at the renaissance that Moon Knight's getting in the comics to where he's just becoming more and more frequent because people are actually in love with his character, Black Knight can do the same thing.
There's no question.
Okay? The fact that this man is doing everything in his power to make the right decision when the weapon that he's choosing is trying to make him pick the wrong one. You know how compelling that is of a story? This man is having to...
Endless conflict.
Yes.
Endless interpersonal conflict.
He's battling himself every time he picks up the sword. We don't have a character like that, period.
Right.
And to see like a old-fashioned knight running out there is just hilarious to me. But why not? Yep. This is, again, layups, man. And you have the perfect actor for it with Kit Harington.
Yep.
I just want to see him again. For the love of God, give me the Black Knight. That is my number 1 choice every day of the week.
No, there is no doubt. I love that as a number 1. My number 1 is the Council of Kangs. And we've hit on it ad nauseum. But you can't just put a period at the end of this character's storyline. You can't. Like, you have built up well the foundation for this character. If the dude that's playing the character is truly that toxic to your ability to include the character, recast him. The person playing the character doesn't have the rights to the character you do as the studio. And you know what? There's a lot of capable individuals that could play that character very well. None of us knew of Jonathan Majors before he had this role. almost none of us, okay? So if that's true, then you can find another person that almost none of us have heard of before. And it's going to turn out that there are a lot of talented individuals out there that are more than capable of taking that mantle and running with it. And guess what? None of us are related to Mr. Major, so we're not going to boycott the movie because John's not in it. We just want to see the character portrayed well. Please don't be such just wimps. Recast the role and keep going with this character.
Hey, no one was boycotting it if he was gonna be in it.
Exactly.
No one's boycotting that movie.
This is a problem that's not actually a problem. You've self-inflicted this wound. Get it right. Recast the character, and let's keep going with this storyline.
Agreed.
Because it is so worthwhile. We have a decade's worth, at least, of phenomenal adversaries. And now they've just wasted it. So, real shame.
It is a shame.
Yep.
Could have been real cool.
Yeah.
But, oh well.